Hello, this is Mandy with Messy Designed Life, the podcast where we talk about interior design some of the time and interior, like self-interior design, a lot of the time. And today I am having a discussion with my wonderful, incredibly amazing friend slash design client for a long time, Laura Nelson. And Laura, we met, did we decide 10 years ago?
Yeah, probably. Yep, that sounds right.
I mean, no, it's more. No, it's more. It would have been 2012, 2011. So that's like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go way back and it's been a journey, which is what we're going to talk about today because you've been in your same home that whole 12 years
Yeah.
and it's gone through some phases and I have been so fortunate to be able to support you through those phase changes and help. I don't know, we'll get into it with clarity, with how you want your space to feel and who you want to be inside of it.
Mhm.
So tell me, let's go back to the beginning. And we don't have to tell the story in depth, but you came in and just wanted a little bit in your home 12 years ago.
Yeah. 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 I was fresh out of a really long-term breakup and buying this house was a really big step at that point of kind of claiming my own space and kind of releasing the thoughts of, thought I was going to do it with this partner. And so you're finding you was kind of kismet, because I'd held on to this folder that I'd had from a company that you had stopped working with or was almost stopping working with. And
Yeah.
and so kind of calling you and then having you show up, and we were similar ages and points in life, was so great, because I was really trying to find myself post breakup, and you really came in and just helped me. Your decisiveness, your clarity, you were able to hone in on who I was so fast.
It is
And
so funny. I don't know if very many people in my life would call me decisive. So thank you very, very much. I will take
I
it. I'll take it.
absolutely, absolutely you are. And yeah, and it's like yeah, it was just so meaningful, the way that you helped me during that time. And it was a big moment in my life. I remember when I closed on the house, I went outside and cried for two reasons. One was just all the grief, of this transition that I'd had. But the other part was I was so proud of myself. It was this big deal to buy my own house and whatnot. And so, at every phase that I've worked with you, having your support of making the experience fun and easy and inspired has meant the world to me.
Hmm. I'm so grateful to hear that. That's
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's what I love. How do we make ourselves happier with the tools that we have? And I don't mean happy in that surface, like, yeah, I'm so happy kind of a way,
Yeah.
right? Like in this really wonderful, supported, nourished, joyful kind of a way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then,
Um,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
go.
Well, so this most recent time, so she helped me with a project with a boyfriend that I had,
Wow.
who's no longer in the picture. And then this most recent project was a big overhaul, redesign of the house.
Yeah.
And it could have been very overwhelming because of the scope of it. But again, the ease and the fun that I had with it. And what was so great was I felt like you pushed my boundaries
Mhm.
of who I even knew I was through design.
Mhm. Wow.
You know what I
Wow.
mean? And then
Yeah,
the
I do know exactly what you mean.
coolest thing was, as I would say, over half the people that have come in this house, all they say is, "This is so you."
Oh my God, I love that. Yes. And here's my question. Is that how you feel when you walk in the house?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Amazing.
like the best part of me, so
Ugh,
it inspires me of, I'm looking at my really fun wallpaper in my entryway right now, and
gorgeous. So gorgeous.
And then I've got, this pink wall behind me that feels like my inner 6-year-old is just, so excited about that, and this is my office. So I bring this to work, all my
Yeah.
work calls. And
Yeah. That's some energy right now, right there. Like, I mean,
yeah, it's
and
a
you see it,
statement.
you're seeing, I know it's behind you, but like you're seeing that as you're in your work self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
people comment on it, they're like, that's your house. And so yeah, it does feel like me, and it elevates me to be more me on days where I may not feel like it.
Tell me more about that. That's because that's where we want to go today, right? The topic that Laura and I talked about was home and self-worth and the
Yeah.
interconnected relationship with those two things. So
Mhm.
tell me a little bit more about that, that on days when you're not feeling maybe that awesome full version of yourself, your home is there.
Yeah, it's these structures of I do have a pink wall, that's who I
Yeah.
am, is someone who has a pink wall in their office. And
Mhm.
um and even I remember when I started moving back in,
Mhm.
and I've got these great green cabinets in my kitchen, and they're really high. Oh
They're
my gosh.
so pretty.
They're so pretty. And and they're really nice cabinets. And so
Mhm.
we designed an island, and so I'm opening up, my
And
new
that was a
space
big
for
overhaul. The green was a big overhaul. The layout was a big overhaul. Yeah, it
knocking down a
opened everything up, gave it
wall.
some vibrancy. Yeah,
Yep.
or a lot of vibrancy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so I remember opening up and closing, I've got this cool spice drawer, and I'm like, oh my, and it's got the soft close, and I'm just like,
Totally.
this is so nice. This is my house.
This is your house. Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because I think there are a lot of little trigger is maybe not the right word. Maybe you can find a better word. There are a lot of little triggers I think that we come up against in every area of our lives
Hmm.
that tell us this is who you are. This is who you
Yeah,
are. You're the
exactly.
kind of person who has these green cabinets. You're the kind of person who has soft clothes and a spice drawer with the fancy
Yeah.
little racks for the spices.
Uh-huh.
You're the kind of person who has a purple wall, right? Like, and elsewhere too. This is not just our homes, but our homes are a pretty big deal in
Mm.
that relationship of
Absolutely.
understanding who we are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's yeah, it really, and it's interesting just thinking of, we kind of touched on two examples of where I was at both
Mhm.
these phases of my life, and being really ready to step into my fabulousness of a pink
Right,
purple wall, and really
right.
ready to own. And so it was kind of both these things of my remodel was a reflection of where I was, but it also, um you helped me even take it further, to stretch myself further, I would say.
Mm,
You know what I
mm,
mean? Where
yeah.
I think sometimes, whether it's the clothes that we're wearing, or the jobs that we have, or the partners that we have, um, are a reflection of ourselves. And when that gets outdated, it's not
Mm,
helpful.
right.
But for you to match me and even more, what a gift.
Mm.
Like I'm still growing into this house.
Oh my
I've
gosh, that's
yeah.
beautiful.
And it's been
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. The word that comes to mind when you're saying that, and I'm curious if it resonates with you, and if so, maybe you can share what it brings up. There's a word that comes to me that's claim. Like you're
Mhm.
claiming this possibility of yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
claiming, there's ownership.
And
Uh,
that's risky. Like, let's not
mhm,
be light about this, right? Like that's risky I mean, just to use this concrete example, it's risky to say, I'm gonna spend a lot of money. I'm getting cabinets. I'm going to paint my wall this amazing, like eggplanty pink purple, and I'm gonna step into the unfamiliar territory of being a different version of me.
yeah,
Or let me rephrase that because I've been working on some of this. It's not a different version. It's a more true, deeper,
That's right.
more real version.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, and it's an interesting thing too, because kind of what's been going on and broadly in my life is that, I've been in a new role as an executive. It's a really fast growing, kind of challenging, exciting role. And so to have my home space really reflect this, um, elevation in my career has been really helpful, for that all to match. And I had a 16-year-old car that I loved that honestly, I don't know if I was really ready to get rid of it, but all of these things, I was calling this remodel really my upgrade, it's an upgrade year.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I actually was debating when to get a new car. It was kind of time, when you just know it's time.
I
And
know.
then,
Yep.
I was like, no, I want to close out 2023 with a new car because I want to round out that year so that it's just,
Yeah.
it's a full upgrade. And it's not always about material possessions, but I think especially depending on who you are. And for me, I've always been really clear that my clothing,
Mhm.
is a very, um, important, kind of structure that helps me feel fabulous, feel like
Mhm.
myself, own my space, da da da. And so to really do that in my home,
Yeah.
was a kind of a different level of ownership because of um, the cost. I know how to dress myself, you know,
Mhm.
but there's a deeper cost. And then also, it's a lot of decisions and that's why I think partnering with someone like you is so critical, because to
Mhm.
have someone to help you so that you make decisions that you're proud of for years to come
Mhm.
is, invaluable. And then again, it made the process fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it may not have before. So, um, yeah, the really, yeah, I'm just really proud of myself for investing, yeah, for going for it and investing in, and again, it'd been 10 years that I'd owned a house, or 12 or 11. And so,
Mhm.
um, for a long time, there was a part of me that wasn't ready to take that jump of worthiness and self-expression, um, and kind of spend that money. So it was interesting coming back in and then reflecting on, okay, you weren't ready before now,
Mhm.
and that's
Mhm.
okay. But
Yep. Yep.
wow, did you wait a long time? A long time I wasn't ready.
Uh-huh.
And what was going on there? So it's been
So,
interesting.
and that's interesting. What do you know what the impetus was? What was the thing? Or
Mhm.
was there one thing or many things that came to you and you were like, now it's got to shift. And it's worth the risk, like you
Mhm.
said, monetarily,
Yeah.
effort-wise, to redefine and re-question who you are. That's a lot of risk.
Yeah. So I would say one thing, and you were with me for pieces of this, if you recall, it's interesting thinking about it now, is so I had refinanced kind of when rates were really low during the pandemic. And so I had all this money waiting, and we
Mhm.
interviewed people. Remember
Yeah.
that? We interviewed some
Yeah.
general
I
contractors.
do.
It didn't work
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
And so that's another piece of this process. And one of
Oh
my
my God, what a
mentors,
good point.
what?
Yeah, keep going. What a good point. Keep going,
Yeah.
keep going.
And so
Yeah.
one of my mentors was really like, this is about, oh God, this is so good to think about. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
So good.
So good. Was really trusting my gut of who do I want to work
Mhm.
with, And I remember saying so many people, especially a lot in Denver, because there's just been so much growth for so long. But during the pandemic, so many people were doing home projects and they weren't going well, and prices were skyrocketing. And people just had all these really flaky general contractors. And I was like, I'm not doing that. That is
Yes.
not going to be
Yes. And
me.
how pivotal is it a part of any growth, right?
Yeah.
to say, not that,
Yeah.
not that one. Yes, I'm open to growing, not like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that has to happen. And I think it's so wonderful to hear you refer to it this way, because it's so true that as we try to grow, it can seem like setbacks. It can seem like failures. We could frame it that way. You could be framing it that way. Well, we tried this and wow, it's just too hard. We can't, nobody says contractors are reliable. And instead you said, I will find a contractor that's reliable. That's not it. That's not it. No,
Yeah.
thank you. No, thank you. Still open to growth. Not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the process of a remodel, so if you remember when I moved out, I started this new job the week I moved out of my house. And so I was living in 3 different places with my cat
Yeah.
during a remodel while I
Your
was
feisty little
traveling
cat.
with with a new job, you know,
Yeah.
and so all of that could have just been, I mean, so much new, so much
Yes.
new. And
What was the thing that you're like, is maybe this isn't the way to say it. Correct me if there's a better way. What was your focal point through that helped, maybe it wasn't perfect all the time, but that helped to cushion that frustration, or what was required for all of those discomforts on the way to where you knew you were headed?
Mhm. I think, I think I was really focused on it all being easy. And I
Mm,
was also, and that's where, again, I was resourced with you.
yeah. And when you say you were focused on it being easy, and I'm saying this because I know you, you're not saying, oh, now it's not easy, it's messed up. You're saying, yeah, this is easy.
Yeah.
As all of this is happening, as you're
Yeah.
moving from 3 different Airbnbs with your cat, doing the
Yeah.
new job, acclimating, you're
Yeah.
like, this is easy.
Going through another breakup during that time too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And
And so
so,
all of that was easy to do all that at once.
well, it's fun. It was, and even as I was going through it, I was like, and I had mail and bills going to the wrong place. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh. Chaos. Chaos is so easy. It's
yeah,
simple.
it's so easy. But it was
Yeah.
just funny because it was also me really stepping into this like new kind of executive Laura
Yeah.
of okay, what's the solution here? You know what I mean? I got a
Uh-huh.
problem, what's the solution? And it was really the beginning of me really stepping out of kind of victim mindset
Mm.
and some negativity. And I remember it was I had some weird bill stuff going on. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. What is
Uh-huh.
happening? And but between the bill stuff and the amount of decisions that I was making, it was also really calling me to be very having a lot of ownership and detail oriented,
Mm.
like having the vision and the focus, but then also kind of being like, no, I need to dig in on this. I need to dig in on this
It pointed
contract.
out to you what was
Oh yeah.
required to get to that focal point.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like that. That's really good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, sometimes I can stay a little high level on things. And so it was like, no, you need to read the contracts. You need to be, um, and so, yeah, there were just a lot. I mean, I basically ate like egg sandwiches multiple times a week for all
Uh-huh.
those 4 months because
I
I was,
love egg sandwiches, honestly. Yeah.
and you can have it,
Underrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Um, I always think of them, they're my dad's like bachelor, the only thing he really knows how to cook.
Oh,
Uh,
that's really cute.
it is cute. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's really great reflecting on that. Thank you.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
The other thing that was interesting was the timing. Again, because I had refinanced and then we planned the project probably a year and a half. And
yeah.
then I didn't know what was going on with my job. I had this crazy boss. So then I was unemployed for 7 months. And then
Hmm.
you want to know the leap of faith I made was um, we ordered the cabinets. I was like, okay, no, I'm going to get a job. We ordered the cabinets. We started on it, but I had also kind of said with them, let's order the cabinets, but I can't really start until I have a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I remember you starting and being like, I don't have a job yet. I'll get one and I'm starting. Just doing it. Yeah, I remember you saying that. And I was like, that girl, it's nothing's gonna stop her.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna stop her. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm
Amazing.
so proud of myself. The whole experience from the refinance, from the general contractor to the no job. I was unemployed longer than I wanted to be, longer than I had planned on, which was okay, but it was, I had to adjust to that.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
journey.
I think there are so many people, probably, I mean, myself, maybe slightly compared to you, that were like, yeah, it's fine. Like this is fine. And it can be so easy to, complacent seems too strong, honestly.
Mhm.
But it can be easy to fall into something of like, this isn't affecting me. Maybe that's more,
Yeah.
like, oh, it's fine, this isn't affecting me. Can you speak to like, you said this is affecting how you show up in your work, the fact that it's different than it was. Do you think it was affecting you before you changed it?
Um, that's a good question. Yeah, I think I definitely had a story around um the investment of money and um yeah, where you choose to put your money. And, I think for me, like, I've always wanted to travel more, but I've never, I would like buy a shirt and go out to dinner before I'd save money to travel or something like that,
Mm.
just as kind
Yep.
of an example. And
Yeah.
so, there was a big shift here I mean, obviously the refinance was a big piece of it, but then there was just, any remodel, you continue to expand, the scope expands.
Correct. Yeah.
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 So there was a big investment on it. So I do think there were stories of who I was, what I could do on my own, um, a lot of patterns probably around my finances.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and again, you just look at all of it right now, and it's like, my health is great. Um, my career's great and it's very challenging, but it's very thriving and it's all reflecting each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Reflecting each other. Yeah, that's so true. That it's all pieces that are reflecting back. This is who I am, so I can show up as that person. This is who I
Yeah.
am, so I can show up as that person. I'm curious too. You said, and maybe I'm gonna use my computer right here. You
Mhm.
said invest in the project, invest in yourself. In so many of my episodes, maybe all of them, I don't know, bring up etymology. And I'm so curious to actually consider the etymology of invest because there's in, right? Like we're investing, we're in something.
Mhm.
So I'm curious what the vest part is. Oh, vest is to dress or clothe, giving one's capital a new form.
Absolutely.
So when I just read that, I mean, I'm just skimming the etymology dictionary online. But I start to think that investment goes hand in hand with the idea of some sort of transformation. Because if it's to clothe and you're clothing differently, or if it's what was the other one that I said? To give one's capital a new form. So if investment goes hand in hand with the concept or the understanding or the reality of having a new form
Mhm.
because you're putting something in with intention
Yeah.
in a different way, that's really interesting to then translate that investment to be your home, to self, to life, to health, back to home, to self.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so I have some more thoughts that's like really interesting. And it's surprising that I would even kind of talk about this on a podcast.
Bring
Um,
it.
But
My
as far
12 people
as,
that listen to me right now, not to limit that. The 12,000 people who will hear you talk
that's
about this.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of manifesting. Um,
Yeah.
so it's interesting, again, sort of all of these things kind of reflecting each other and these choices. So my role that I have right now, um, I have equity in the company. I've also
Mhm.
invested in the company, which is a
Mhm.
really big deal because I probably that's not something I would probably have done before my remodel at the degree
Oh,
that I did.
wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And even buying a new car, and the process that I went through with that. So it's very interesting really looking at the refinancing, the timing of the remodel, and it all being this reflection of so much inner work that I've done on myself.
Mhm.
And then sort of the domino effects of the capital investment in my life that I've made.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge. What do you feel like you found in yourself
Mhm.
that allowed that to be possible now? I mean, I know the experiment, if we want to call it that, to do that in your home was part of it,
Yeah.
but what is that thing in you now that you can, oh yeah, I'll invest more in the company. I feel good with this.
Yeah, well, it was, there was an evaluation. It was a bet on myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was a bet on, it being really excited about what's going on at the company and
Yeah.
that I have equity. I'm an owner in the company, right? And so
Mhm.
I also want to invest in that. And I'm betting on myself and I'm betting on the team and I'm betting on the opportunity. And you don't always get opportunities like this. Um,
I
you,
hear a lot of trust in there too,
yeah,
to be able to bet, the trust in yourself to be able to place those bets on
yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
on what you think is going to pan out and like be a good investment, right?
And choose to operate differently. You know what I mean? Choose
Mm.
to use my money differently, choosing to, um, create different future opportunities for myself. And it is a risk. It's all a risk, but
Sure.
it felt there was a lot of clarity in that. And then it also was like kind of what I was saying with you pushing me to be a little bit more past where I was maybe ready to be. Um,
Hmm.
this was a choice that was like, no, um, this is who future Laura is.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been asking myself a lot recently, especially I've got some kind of old habits that are kind of lingering around.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, Hughes, what does future Laura want? What would she do? You know what I
Amazing.
mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I don't have it all figured out yet, but that question does resonate with me.
Yeah. You know, there is an amazing, my favorite podcast episode, maybe on the planet, is a Radio Lab episode called Words. And they
Mm,
talk about the significance of the words we use, which I was obsessed with the words we use anyway. This just kind of gave language to it. Haha.
mhm,
Um, and part of what they talk about is that in different languages, there is a big separation between present and future.
mhm,
English has a very big separation. Present and future are separate. The way that our language is structured, future is over there. It's not here. It's different, and ne'er the two shall meet, right? And
mhm.
other languages, such as Japanese, future is something that's also present, right? It's like it's a part of the present, and because that's the languaging, it's how the understanding comes about, because the language is what's bringing the understanding. So I think it's very powerful to be doing what you're saying and creating a relationship with future self
Mhm.
means that a current relationship, if I have a current relationship with my future self,
Yeah,
then my future self is actually a part of now,
yeah,
which means that I can make decisions for now, for the future now. And it's not just this separate thing that's, I think so often when it is separate, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I don't know. It's out there. I'll think about it later. It doesn't affect me.
yep,
But when it's a current relationship, it's so much more clear
absolutely.
how that effect happens.
Yeah. And even, so before this week started, I was writing down goals of, what are my goals for this week that are aligned. with what I want to be creating, and really just starting to prioritize better and better and better of where I want to be, who I want to be. Um, and some of my focus areas are like, health and habit focus, and then some are, my dreams and, work related. And yeah, so yeah, I think that's really beautiful about the Japanese. That resonates deeply.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The way, I mean, really, even below that, it is the words we use, and it's also much more deeply the way that we have decided to understand something,
Yeah.
right? And if it's not serving us, or if it, like in this overarching example of this conversation, if you decide that the version that you're starting to notice where it kind of rubs and chafes and isn't,
Yeah.
the question is, how can the narrative change? How can the understanding and the relationships that I might be taking for granted, or that I think have to be the way that they are, how
Mhm.
can I question those and say, what else is
Yeah.
possible here?
Yep. Yep. A lot of that going on right now. Yeah. Of
Mhm.
figuring out those pieces and pockets and then kind of digging in.
Mhm.
Big time.
Mhm. I'm curious, do you have more clarity around when you say that our conversations and our work together pushed a little further? Where do you think that would have landed, or what do you think? Tell me more about that extra stretch.
How that worked, or what you did that helped me?
That, and like, what do you think the difference would be without that? And
Oh my
what do you
gosh.
think
I can't
happened between
even,
us
I don't
two?
want to think about it.
Yeah.
Don't make
Don't make
me.
it reality. I like it. That's a valid response. That's a valid
Right? I mean,
response.
it
Yeah.
just feels like,
Wouldn't have been
first of
this.
all, it would have been so stressful.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, literally, I'd be like, it would have been so stressful. It would have taken so much more time. I
Mhm.
wouldn't have the results that I loved. Um, so that's one piece of it. And then the other piece is like when you were talking, all I saw was drab. I wouldn't have had
Mm.
a purple wall. I wouldn't have had these pink curtains with gold specks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so part of it was what you brought to the process, but I've got these great curtains, the anthropology curtains in my,
Mhm.
healing room, like
Yeah. Yeah. Gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Well, and I have to say too, now that we've worked together 3 times, I guess, with pieces in between,
Yep.
um, you bring so much clarity to understand, oh yes, I want to come and I have considered what I want out of this,
Hmm.
right? So I think you and I work so much faster because you've asked these questions of yourself, and I can dig deeper with you.
Hmm.
Um, but it's both the fact that you've asked them of yourself already, and then you want to understand them more as we have the conversations. You're willing to dive in. How did you say it earlier? You had to like get in and get the things done. You had to you didn't say tedious things. That's coming from me because I don't like doing those either. But you used a different
Yeah,
word,
yeah, it's the details.
the
Yeah,
details. So
I had
you were
to
willing to
again.
dive into the details of what
Mhm.
it the really dive into the feeling details about how you wanted to feel, which isn't always comfortable because you have to question who you think what you what am I trying to say? You have to question in that process how
Mhm.
you think you're supposed to feel versus how it might be possible to feel that might feel scary because it's so different
Yes.
and unfamiliar
Yes.
and
And
big.
so, the other thing that I actually want to acknowledge about you that is super helpful, that not everyone, that's why working with you worked, and why even some of the other general contractors we interviewed didn't work, was because um, I can get influenced.
Hmm.
If someone's super, this is what you need to do, da da da. I mean, we almost remodeled the back of the house instead of the kitchen, which would have been the wrong thing.
Because of the contractor, right? Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Hmm.
And I just kind of went with that wave. Their wave was so strong that I just went with it.
Yes. Yes.
And so what's different about you is that you have this way of being like, I think this is what would be really good, but I'm not going to push that on you. But my
Hmm.
excitement, I don't know, you bring an excitement and a resonance, but then allow enough space for me to have a no. And it's not personal for you.
Yes. Yeah, no,
You're right, because
no.
we
And you know
worked a
what?
lot,
That was a process for me to learn. I
really.
it was, and honestly, it wasn't maybe as hard. It wasn't as hard as it could have been because I was so clear that I'm not doing this to make an artistic statement. That's not why I like doing this. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be like, this is a Mandy Straight house. Look at that. Who cares? Who cares about? I don't. That is not my driver.
Mhm.
So it quickly became clear. Clients would say no, and I'd be like, why am I upset about that? I'm not going to live in this house, right?
Yeah.
So the more I just kept refocusing on no, 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 the important part is that they feel fulfilled. Each
Yeah.
client is like, yes, that's what I'm going for. And the
Mhm.
more we can tap into that, yes, for you, for each client, the
Yep.
more I can help tap into that, the better they are at
Yeah.
hearing it,
Yeah.
right? And so I feel like I'm not, you said I'm decisive. I don't feel like I make any decisions at all. I feel like I ask a lot of questions and
Mhm.
I listen not just to the words.
Yeah. And I think,
And
yeah,
can we feel
you're,
that thread so
yeah,
that we can both follow it better?
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting now that we're talking too. And I just want to emphasize your ability to hone in on what people aren't saying is pretty top notch and
Thanks.
remarkable and magical. So that's a huge gift that I think you bring. The other thing that I'm being reminded of, the one area we really had to work at was the bedroom.
Yep.
Remember how many times it was like, oh, not quite, not quite.
Yep.
And you really held space for me to, which can be hard for me to say, I
Mhm.
don't think it's quite there yet. And then
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden that one meeting.
Yes. When both of us, I'm doing this like messy collage on the screen, and
Yeah,
we were both like, oh, that one. Yeah.
that one, that's it. And then
Yep.
we like knew it. It was so clear in our bodies. Yeah.
Mm. I love that moment. Like that's like its own specific, wonderful little natural high of
Yes.
like the moment where the client and I are like, oh, and you get
Yeah.
goosebumps.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
transcendental, I
Yeah, it really
think.
was. It really,
Yeah.
really was, especially because
Uh-huh.
we like we're circling the drain and we were so close, you know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I had a hard time kind of communicating and knowing what I wanted, I should say.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I mean, we went through the creative process together.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't, and this is what I love too, is I think it's easy. I know when I'm the client of other things, I feel like I'm supposed to have answers. No, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problem holding space for the client to be like, oh, not quite. Let me figure it out. What's not feeling right? I don't know yet. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the fun, although I'm sure it's not as fun for the clients, but I think it's part of the fun to allow that space.
For
That's a
sure.
weird way to say that. Why do I think that's fun? I do. I think it's fun. It's like this place of possibility
Hmm.
that that is so dissonant,
Yeah.
but then it's like waiting. It's like I don't do EDM music. I don't like it, but it's like when they like the
Building.
music is like and then it
Yeah.
drops and everybody goes,
Yes.
oh yeah,
Yes.
that's what it feels like to
Yes.
me. Yeah, and I
Yes.
have a personal EDM,
Yeah.
so that's why I
That
don't
was
like
so
it.
good. You know, the other example that's coming to me that you were really clutch on was and this was the only time with the general contractor where I went got a little um was when I asked very clearly up front about we need to be really clear about the wood wall in the kitchen because that was so
Yep,
important to me.
yep. Mhm,
And then and then it was sort of last minute and we had to pivot really fast. And you
yep,
found the slat walls
yep.
that
Stunning.
then got sold out weeks later.
Yep. Hmm.
It was and it was even a better solution that fit better in the space. So it
It
was
really did.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was one
I
of those.
feel like I resonate with what you said about what you're doing in your job of or maybe you said it during the process and when you were starting your job, okay, what needs to happen here?
Yeah.
Right? Like there are those moments of like that I think design only works like that there are natural limitations in anything. In any and every single thing we do in life, there are natural limitations. So the possibility happens when we say where are they, and instead of saying that's a block, say that's helping direct toward what's going to work. So
Yeah.
oh okay, the solution we had didn't work. What are our parameters and what can work, and get
Yeah.
really excited about the possibility. And you were
Yeah.
saying that's so great because you were saying that's the thing you leaned into in your work and in the process
Oh,
of
for
it.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And I remember when you messaged me because I was, I wanted to hold them accountable to not listening to me and then having a rush timeline and then that potentially impacting the project, which it didn't. And I remember that you messaged me and you're like, I think I have an idea.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I
And it all
mean,
worked out.
yeah, it's it's so fun. I don't know.
Hmm.
Limitations make things fun. And I don't lean into that enough, I think, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not good about making myself get out of bed earlier. I
Yeah.
kind of like push it off. And but
Yeah.
if
It's a
there's
big
been so much said about limitation.
Well, I mean, it's a big thing that, and so it's interesting actually reflecting back on that process of kind of the mail and the chaos of some of those things and really getting into the details of things because I'm still trying to do that right now, even more of staying really solution focused
Mhm.
and yeah, and just kind of continuing to find those areas where um yeah, it's like, is how I'm showing up even how I want to be? Which is kind of the other piece that really made a difference for me in the house, honestly, was working with an organizer.
Yes, you talked about that, and I am going to jump on some of that in my own situation because, to your point about having somebody else to help with that thing
Yeah.
outside of the problem,
Uh-huh.
I need a little bit of that. Like I need to just get somebody to be like, no, 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 just shed that thing. It's
Yep.
okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And her, she's so logical. So a lot of the systems that she's built, they've all stayed,
That's amazing.
you know,
Yeah.
so it really was an investment
Yeah.
that has stuck.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that simplifies, I mean, it's so funny because organization is limiting chaos, is limiting how you might
Yeah.
put away your clothes or how you might, right? Like it's a limitation. And I was saying limitation earlier, and I'm thinking is it a limitation or is it a choice to have structure?
Yeah.
Because that's different, right? Limitation is like, choice to have structure is like, I choose to have more
Yeah.
clarity and organization,
Discipline's freedom.
right? Which is so not always where I'm coming from. And it
Oh, me
is, it's true.
either. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's funny because like I'll get done with the work week and then I my tendency to like self-isolate and then or I'll kind of lay around and then it's Sunday and I didn't do what I wanted to do on Friday or Saturday or that anyways, then I kind of have some regret on how I'm spending my time, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really trying to figure out in a lot of areas I'm very disciplined and it works for me and it gives me freedom, but there's still, yeah, it's like yeah, it just feels like a little bit of an overcorrect that then I typically regret a few hours later because I may have been more nourished if I did go see friends, and do a
Mm-hmm.
hangout instead of watching 3 hours of Netflix or whatever.
Right. Or like in my case, I don't make myself work out on the weekends. But if I kept the momentum that I had and just said it's just an hour or it's just
Yeah,
30 minutes,
yeah,
and keep that discipline,
yeah,
that like what would that change? What would that open up? There's something that I'm trying to attach what I'm trying to source where it's coming from in my past, but there was something that I had heard about um, doing those things, holding to those, like you were saying, the things that you wanted to get done over the weekend.
mhm,
And then you get done, and you're like, oh, I didn't do those. That was framed in something that I was listening to about, it was framed in a way that's, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? It's an issue of creating a situation where you can trust yourself.
yeah,
You're showing yourself in doing it, you're showing yourself that you're
that's
trustworthy
right.
for what you wanted to do,
Yes,
for what you said you would do to yourself. And
yes,
how we know how important that is to other people. And then it's easy
yes,
to think that it's less important for self, or that to think that allowing ourselves not to show up is supporting ourselves when
yeah.
maybe it's not.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
that's this big story that I have of like, oh, you just need a night to do nothing or, so there are some of those extra kind of pieces that I've been playing with of um yeah, wiping down my counters before I go to bed, putting my dishes away because future Laura loves waking up to that.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of incrementally chipping away at that. Um but I think, yeah, discipline's freedom, the structures and whatnot, really then allow us to have the ultimate freedom. You know what I mean? Of,
Yeah.
now I'm stressed out about, I just created stress in my life. And you're right. I disappointed myself. I didn't show up for myself
Right.
ultimately because of this little story of that's kind of rebelling against something. It's like a kid
Against
rebelling against
ourselves.
myself. Yes.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
good.
Now, but let's dive in one step deeper because kids rebel to prove to themselves that they have agency.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
what can we learn from that? If I'm rebelling against myself now, what agency do I want or need to prove to myself that I have?
Well, I think in the case that I'm talking about, it's I think this is really good. I think it's about like a story of lack of time or a story of what relaxation needs to look like. I mean, it's definitely sabotage. Um,
Potentially, it's rebelling against what we've been told it is. Oh, to relax, you have to do this thing.
yes,
And we're rebelling against the definition we've been handed. Maybe.
yes, and kind of what was modeled. Or it's
Yes,
like, yeah,
yes.
the old habit is like what I saw was, yeah, watching TV was relaxing, but that's really not what's serving me.
Right.
So then I kind of replicate this thing.
Oh, so maybe we
It's
need to rebel
yes,
because we need to take it
I
and
think
take the
so.
agency for what's
Yeah.
actually true
I need to
for
kind of
us.
unwind this thing, this belief or that I have that's actually not what it is going to help
Mhm.
me.
I can so relate to that. Yeah.
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 And I would also, so it's a mix of that, but I would also say kind of my childhood was that, like, mom would never relax, mom would never sit down. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's a mix of those two things.
That I feel that one even more. I
Yeah.
totally do. Where that's not my parents do relax.
Mhm.
I definitely maybe societally more
Yeah.
than just my immediate family. There's this like go be productive, go do
Yeah.
things. And part of me is like, sometimes I don't buy into that. And
Yeah.
I think part of me is rebelling against the story that I have to be productive,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's not what you're not saying, that the opposite to TV is being productive. That's not what you're saying. You're saying there might be a different way to not be productive.
That's right. That's more
Right. And
nourishing.
so I can rebel against this,
Yeah.
the myth of being productive being the highest thing, and
Mhm.
still can nourish myself in a way that's uh
And what I would also
different.
say is I'm actually not really able to relax. So in some cases, I'm not able to relax because if I would have done an hour of work,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been able to relax so much more.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of
The
this,
avoidance part, you're
yeah,
aware of the discordance of having avoidance,
yeah,
which which doesn't allow for,
mhm,
yeah, because you know it's there.
yeah. So this is
Hmm.
kind of a tangled mess now that we're looking.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? But starting to see it, right? I mean, here's the thing that I think is so powerful.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of talked about, I do this in design work, is I think starting to just identify the pieces and
Yeah,
not immediately jumping to what do we do about that
yeah,
is so powerful. There is so little value placed on sitting before acting
yeah,
and assessing before acting. And I think it's so frequently the pattern to say, okay, what are you gonna do about it? Okay, what are you gonna do about it? Without saying, I feel uncomfortable, that I know something needs to be done, and I'm gonna take a beat to pause and actually get clear so that when I do something, it's more clear and it's not a reaction.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what, a lot of the habits that I'm working on of eating slower, not watching TV while I eat, and then this whole, kind of rebellion, anti whatever we just said that I need to go
Yeah.
back and listen to and take my
Me
journal
too.
on.
Yeah.
There was a lot in that.
Yeah.
Uh, if I could have the capacity to slow down for 5 seconds,
Hmm.
and then say, okay, do I really want to turn the TV on while I ate?
Hmm.
Because there's this energy kind of moving you towards this habit that
Yes.
can
Yeah.
be so strong.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I have a friend that is an alcoholic. He's been sober for 30 years, 35, 40, I don't know, lots of years, at least 30. And we had an amazing discussion about the fact that, and this is kind of, it's very Joe Dispenza. I start to think Joe Dispenza when I get into this kind of conversation
Mhm.
where we are trying to fill there's some little like discomfort, that let's just say it's like a little hole that's discomfort, and the hole is uncomfortable, and we're like, okay, just fill it. Oh, okay, I have to do that, right? And so I think my friend was relating that, yeah, that was what alcohol and drugs were for me 30, 40 years ago. They were, there's a hole, fill it, there's a hole, fill it. And
Mhm.
the longer any of us can pause
Yeah.
and not jump to fill the hole,
Yeah.
the longer we can pause, the more intentional we can be
Mhm.
about what the need actually is. Because here's the thing, so often the conversation's about what needs to happen,
Mhm.
when really there's so much power left on the table when
Yeah.
we don't get clear on what the hole is in the first place.
Mm.
You
Oh
know,
my
it's
gosh.
easy to find things to fill a hole. If we don't know what the hole is, we're
Yeah.
just going to keep looking for things to fill.
Oh yeah,
Here's a
whack-a-mole.
filler, here's a filler, yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yep.
the clearer we can get to just sit with the hole and be like, oh, there it
Yeah.
is, and
Yeah.
not need to have it be filled. Maybe
Yeah.
ever. I mean, I don't know. It depends
Yeah.
on what the topic
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's
That
so
pause
true.
between reaction. Yeah.
It's and it's just fascinating to me too. It's easy to say. It can be so hard with some of these patterns, these habits to do. It's like,
Completely.
I mean,
Completely.
someone's going to be watching this and being like, really? Watching TV and eating, But for me,
But you
it's
know what?
like,
That's how it plays out though. And if
yeah.
we do it in one place, then we're doing it other places.
Mhm.
And I think it's a
Mhm.
human tendency to like, it's like the cliche thing that all the people in Alcoholics and that are in AA meetings come out and go smoking outside of
Yeah.
the thing. So you're
Yeah.
replacing one thing with another
Oh, yeah.
thing. And it's
Mhm.
excruciatingly difficult for us. It really is. Like, I don't think that's an understatement. It's
Yeah.
excruciating for us to find the thing that we keep substituting in something else
Yeah.
to fill and be like, what if I just don't?
Yeah.
Because it's so hard. It's
It is
so
so
hard.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it applies to everything. Do we have to fill a silence in a conversation?
Yeah.
Do we have to, like if I'm watching TV, do I have to be eating food? Because what happens if some part of my brain is left without some dopamine going on at every single second? What happens if it sits still?
Yeah.
Right? I was joking with my friend. I said something about every time I usually work out right here in my office, but a
Mhm.
couple times for some reason I was working out in the bedroom and I was like, all of a sudden I really want to make the bed because the ab work
Oh,
sucks and I
yep.
don't want to do 10 more reps of the ab work. And gosh, I could just straighten the sheets right here,
Yeah.
which I don't want to do unless I'm doing
Mhm.
ab work, because then it's filling, it's like the distraction and the dopamine.
Yeah.
You did it and it wasn't
Oh,
as
I
hard as,
get it
yeah, yeah,
so
just
much.
distraction. Right.
Yeah. And that's where, it's interesting. I saw some really good quotes around, you've got a lot of data around how your home looks, but also around being organized,
Right.
and how much that kind of can eliminate some of,
I mean, that is an ongoing one for me. And I think, like, to give myself some grace very realistically, I work with a shaman,
yeah.
regularly. And at some point she said, I don't know how this came up. This is not what we normally talk about, but she said something like, Mandy, you're an artistic person.
Oh,
the
100%.
the brain of an artistic person is expansive and creates more choices, more opportunity. And the brain to make something organized is the opposite of that. She was like, do you think this is supposed to be easy for the way that for where you're coming from? It's not that
Yeah.
she was saying give up on it, but she's like, maybe there's a little more space in the my own self-criticism about being organized to
Yeah.
say, I appreciate having choice. I appreciate making more options.
Yeah.
And how can I embrace more organization,
Yeah.
understanding that having it be organized gives me more options elsewhere. And I
Yeah.
don't need the options to be in the mess or in not following the structure, right? Because
Yeah.
structure takes away options. But if I
Yeah.
can put the structure in how my clothes go in, if I can put the structure in how my closet's organized or my junk drawer is organized, then
Yeah.
there's so much more room for the possibility and the artistic things
Creative
elsewhere.
things. Yeah. That might be more nourishing for you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So again, structure wins out.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. My heart
Yeah. But
dies just a little bit.
I do think then, it's interesting what that reminded me of is I remember reading an article around, like, are you a pile person or do you file things in folders? Or I had my hairdresser was very visual. So he had this whole visual way, he had his own business, a visual way of taxes.
Wow, that's
Yeah, and
amazing.
I know, but it worked for him,
Yep,
you
yep,
know,
yep.
and so it was kind of a structure and a program. Um, but I do think it is important to let ourselves be who we are.
Yes, responsive structure.
Yeah.
Like stemming from the inside. What do I want out of it?
Yeah.
What needs to be limited? What am I asking to be limited in this
Yeah.
situation? And what doesn't? Because so often exterior, right? Like we just bring in structure and it's not ever going to fit the same way
Mm,
it is if it's coming from inside.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah.
Different
So
question.
good. So
Yeah.
good.
Thanks. This was wonderful. I always love talking to you. I could talk to you
I love
forever.
talking. I know. Right back at you.
Good. Yeah.
Seriously. And this was so fun reflecting back on that journey. Holy moly.
Mm-hmm. It's yeah, your place. We should get my photographer over to you because
Yeah,
we should just document this version of you now.
I know. It's so good. It's so yeah, this conversation was really meaningful. I thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very validating of um where I am and who I am. And I didn't know I needed this, but thank you. I really, especially this week's been crazy. Well, you know. So yeah, this was like a cherry on a not Sunday week. Not a nice Sunday
Perfect.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I love working with you on your home, and also I just love knowing you. You are an inspiration in so many ways, and um, just all of it, like the way that we come together and bounce off of, yeah, and yes, and oh, we can learn
Yeah.
this, and it doesn't that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's expansion that feels so wonderful.
So
So thank you.
good. So good. It's how collaboration should be, you know?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Amazing.
Cool.
And especially collaboration where it's like, oh, something's not quite right. Oh, okay, wait, pause. What is
Yeah.
it? Yeah, let's take a step back. Oh, okay, cool. Now we're back on track. Let's keep going. And it's so much more
Yeah.
fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's, I think what I love about what we're talking about, and you know, when I think of corporate America, there needs to be more of that. People need to know how to do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We're never
And
taught.
I know, it's so
We have to go
sad.
seek this out. It is not
Yes.
taught anywhere. And it's
Mm.
a detriment to everything. Our
To
personal
everything.
relationships, our self relationships, and
Mhm.
our work relationships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the other interesting, I hadn't thought about this with you in corporate America, but the other interesting thing was when I was doing partner dance,
Hmm.
you know, and there's so much of that, like, where do you want to go? Where am I interpreting we want to go? And then how do we
Right.
co-create that in the moment together? And
Yes.
and then giving feedback of what was that like for you? What was that, you know, what were you trying to do? Did I pick up on what you were telling me? And no, you didn't, or yes, you did. And, you know, it's like that is what's missing from all relationships.
That is such a good, very specific metaphor. Like I think that's so true. I don't do a lot of dancing, but I completely, right? Like there's this who's leading
Yeah,
now. Okay,
yeah,
you're gonna lead for a little while. Yeah. And then the response, like, how was that? What can we do differently next time
hmm,
to be more responsive? And
yeah,
when you're in that place that is mutually responsive, then
hmm,
you flow together,
yeah. Because
right?
it's
I've seen dance improv so many times at Burning Man and watching that, which that's
yes,
where the lead, nobody's leading.
that's right. Well, that's what I was going to say is that it's active leading and active following because you can't
Yes.
have passive following
Right.
or it
Yes. Thank
doesn't
you so
work.
much.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Anyway, so you're bringing a lot to people, the design work, you know, and modeling how to collaborate. So thank you.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I love having more clarity about what comes out of what I
yeah,
offer. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Yeah. All right. I love you so
Thank
much. Do you have
you.
anything
I
coming
love
up
you
on
too.
the weekend? Anything?
I'm not sure. There are a few things up in the air and
Mm.
I'm trying to feel
Oh, the
into them.
party. Is there a party?
There's a party. Yep, that
Hold
party.
on, was there one of the, I think all your stories were done. Or
Well, I went to a birthday party last weekend.
yes,
I was
okay.
just joking with a friend today that there's so many birthdays this time of year. And then I was like, wait, it's the fact that Leos all throw themselves parties. Right. And like the rest of the year, like I didn't actually have a birthday party for myself this year. And so many people are just like, I don't know, it's October and I don't know, I don't really need a birthday party. But Leos are like, it's my party. Come to my party. It's time for my party. Everybody come to my party. Right.
That's so great.
So all the Leo birthdays. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. All right. All right.
Thank
Love
you so
you.
much. Love you
Mwah.
too.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Yeah.